Hey everyone, we're talking if you have the numbers 1 and 2 within your date of birth, or you have a 1 and 2 as your life path number, what that means through Vedic numerology and how you can use those numbers to live your best life. I'm going to show you how to look at this. So this is a Vedic grid. I have another video, several videos back on how to create the Vedic grid, but I've put this date of birth into the grid. And you can see that this person has a 1 and a 2, and how they're positioned is called a square. So the 1 is square to the 2, meaning the sun is square to the moon. Now, this is a yoga within Vedic numerology that is not known as being very positive, that it can create a certain set of problems, but it is one of the yogas that has the potential to generate huge amounts of wealth. I have seen so many people that have this yoga that are very wealthy. And so if you find that you are not able to get by and pay your bills, then you need to get these numbers into alignment to live your best life. So what is number 1? So number 1 is our ego. It's our power and authority and how we show up in the world. It is also our father within our Vedic grid, as well as the government. Number 2 is the moon. That's our mind, our thoughts, our emotions. It is our peace of mind. It is also the mother, as well as our family and our savings. It's not our liquid assets. That's number 5, Mercury. So when the 1 is square to 2, there is a conflict in how these parts of your life are interacting. And when you get these numbers into alignment, then you will find your wealth increases as well as your creativity. So let me give you an example of how this could manifest. Let's say you have a group of friends and they are very much into keeping up with the Joneses, right? Like what kind of car you drive, how much money you make, what your clothes look like, where you're going on vacation. And you're showing up in that same way, right? Because that's number 1. That is how you show up in the world. But it's in square to number 2, to your mind and your thoughts. And you're sitting there thinking, like, I don't really want to be a part of this friend group. Like, this isn't, how I see life. I see that there's more to life than just consumption. And I want to, have a more spiritual group of friends, but you keep hanging out with your friends that are a little more materialistic. That is how the 1 square to the 2 will manifest. You're not showing up as your true, authentic self. And so what can happen is this can stop your flow of wealth, right? Even if you have money, there is more money you could be making, but not resolving these 2 numbers is creating problems in your life. It's also stopping your flow of creativity. I actually see this yoga as very beneficial because, right, we're meant to, our Vedic grid and our birth date, that's the karmic blueprint we come in with, but we're not meant to stay in those numbers. We're meant to go to the highest vibration of our life path number. And so you really want to get these numbers into alignment. Another problem with this yoga. Oh, I wanted to go back and say also that I have found a lot of women born on the 10th, right? Because being born on the 10th can bring a certain set of challenges because a 0 is attached to the 1. So if one of these 1s is coming in and you're a woman born on the 10th, a lot of women marry someone very wealthy, right? This 1 squared to the 2, but still things need to get into alignment to live peacefully. This can also manifest as, and I know this may be hard to hear, but the son is the father, number 2 is the mother. There are frequently problems between the mother and father of the person that has a grid with 1 squared to the 2. There could have been a divorce. Sometimes the person isn't even aware that there's problems, right? Because this 1 square to the 2 very much creates a situation where sometimes a person isn't even fully aware of how they're presenting themselves. And so if you have this, stand up for if one of your parents is being mistreated or not spoken kindly to by the other parent, stand up for that parent, especially by the age of 30 to 35, because that's when your grid begins to have the most power. Also, if your family is having problems and being close, then it is your karmic duty to try to bring your family closer together. Now, I know some families that's just not possible, but do what you can, to to bring the family closer together. And then once you know you've done everything you possibly could, then it's okay to leave it alone, but try to do that. The other thing is, it would be helpful for you to find a trusted friend to say, hey, am I showing up authentically? And get their opinion. I would find a friend who doesn't have the 1 square to the 2 as well. Even if you have a 3 or a 6, this is still a 1 square to the 2, right? The yoga is not as powerful, but find a friend who doesn't have the 1 square to the 2 and preferably has a 5 in their grid, because that's Mercury and the ability to analyze. And if they have a 9-5, even better. And then once you get these numbers into alignment, you're going to find more wealth is being brought in. You're able to be more creative. I do want to say we have to look at all the numbers, because the 1 squared to the 2 is only one aspect. And so for wealth creation, other numbers like 8 and 9 do have to be analyzed. But this yoga is huge to bring in massive amounts of wealth. So you don't want to let how you're showing up be in contradiction to what is going on in your mind. That is the main problem of this yoga. And so within Vedic numerology, remedies are given so that you can make your numbers more powerful. So the first one is, because number 1 is the sun. That's the ruler of anyone's grid, even if you don't have a number 1. So wake up with the sun, especially on Sundays. And I know this can be hard, like if you've gone out the night before, on Saturday night, but do your best to wake up with the sun, right? Because number 1 is the king. And think about a royal court. When the king is walking through the halls of the palace, everyone in the palace isn't still asleep in bed. They are up paying homage to the king. And then the king, in turn, he's giving respect and he's giving security to the people. And that is what the sun, number 1, will bring to you. It will bring security and wealth and creativity to you. Also wear on Sundays yellow, orange, or gold. That's going to, really harness that number 1 power. I will say, though, if you have a life path of 8, of 4, or 7, do not wear orange, yellow, or gold on Sundays. Those numbers are ruled by Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu, and they're enemies with the sun, so don't wear those colors. But if you are an 8, 7, or 4, still wake up with the sun on Sundays. Another thing that is really important to do is with this 1 square to the 2, right? This is the government being squared to savings and finance. So with these people, when they begin a dasha, that's a time period we use in Vedic numerology for predictions, they will have problems with the government regarding taxes, or it can be something that's been done that's not ethical. It's going to catch up to you. So pay your taxes on time. Don't do anything to cheat your taxes. And then conversely, make sure everyone in your family is doing the same, especially like if you have minor children and they have a job, but you're still like head of household on the income tax return. Make sure everyone is on the up and up with paying your taxes. It is so important. So yeah, do those things. Show up authentically, speak your mind, show up for what is really in your heart and in your thoughts. That's going to generate wealth. It's going to create stability and peace, help your family, and bring your parents together the best you can. And then once you've done everything you possibly can do, then it's okay to let it go. I hope this was helpful and that this brings the ability to generate more wealth, because again, this is a yoga for being able to bring in huge amounts of material possessions and also to generate your creativity. I'll see you for the next video. Bye.